So, like I was saying, the Minutemen are a militia that are a colonial militia that are training to fight at a minute's notice. And so they also start to gather, the colonists do, the patriot colonists do, not the loyalists. The loyalists would be loyal to the crown. The patriots are the ones who want their freedom. But they start gathering stores of ammunition throughout the winter of 1774 and 1775. And as you know, if you're gathering ammunition for something, you mean to fight. So by the spring, the British knew that the colonists were storing ammunition, and they decide that they need to take care of that. So they're going to march to Concord, which is where the large store of ammunition is. And on the way, they're going to capture a few Patriot leaders like John Hancock and Samuel Adams. And then they're going to continue on to Concord and capture the ammunition. Now, this was their plan, and it was supposed to be a secret plan, but Patriots learned of their plans. And thanks to the famous Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, the Patriots are warned in advance that the British are coming, and they are able to stand their ground. Now, when I mentioned the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere, I do want to clarify that he wasn't the only person who rode through the night to warn his countrymen. There were two others. There was a man by the name of William Dawes, and also a man by the name of Dr. Samuel Prescott. Paul Revere is the most famous because of the fact that there's a poem about him. But after the militia, the Minutemen, the Patriots, are apprised of the situation, they are ready to stand their ground, as I said. So this is going to lead to the skirmish at Lexington and Concord. Remember, Lexington was where they were going to arrest the Patriots leaders, John Hancock and Sam Adams, and then Concord is where the ammunition is stored. So on April 19, 1775, the British troops march into Lexington. And standing to greet them are about 70 Minutemen. And when the British commander sees them, he commands, "Disperse, ye villains." But the Patriots don't move. And the order given to the Patriots by their captain, John Parker, is stand your ground, don't fire unless fired upon. But if they mean to have a war, let it begin here. So it's not really certain who actually fired the first shot, but a first shot was fired, and this shot became known as the shot heard round the world. And this essentially is the beginning of the War for Independence, or the Revolutionary War, as it's sometimes called. So the skirmish ends with 8 men killed and 10 others wounded amongst the Minutemen, and they are forced to flee. And the Redcoats move on to Concord, where they also encounter fierce resistance. But they did manage to destroy ammunition that the Patriots had not already moved. And these two skirmishes are the colonies standing up to the greatest empire at that time, the British Empire, and it's a very interesting picture to think about. Okay, so after the news of Lexington spread, there was another patriot, Ethan Allen, who's pictured here, who gets the zeal and the fire and is ready to fight for the patriot cause, and he takes his militia, known as the Green Mountain Boys, and they capture Fort Ticonderoga, which was a British stronghold. And they are successful in this feat, and they manage to take supplies and cannons and things like that. And then after they take Fort Ticonderoga, they take Crown Point. And on the same day that Ticonderoga fell, the Second Continental Congress convenes, and they decide during this Congress that they are going to prepare for the worst, and they're going to raise an army, and they appoint George Washington commander-in-chief. So by preparing for the worst and raising an army, they're getting ready for a war. Now, the first major battle of the War for Independence takes place in June 1775. And essentially, what happens is the Patriots are determined to drive the British out of Boston. However, the Patriots are not successful in their first big major battle. The British are the ones who win because the Patriots are forced to retreat due to the fact that they run out of ammunition, but they were still showing their spunk and they're still showing their zeal for victory and to fight. So the British won, but it was at cost to themselves. So out of the 1,054 casualties, the Americans only had 100 killed. So the British lost a lot of people, but they did also win the battle. Okay, so that is the end of your lecture for today. You did a good job listening. Thank you for doing all those ed puzzles. I hope that you learned something new, and we will uh, hope that you have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.